All right, let's talk about Agile. Now, you've probably heard this term thrown around, especially in the tech world, right? But here's the thing. Its real power has nothing to do with software. It's really about having a system, a way to make real, consistent progress when your big, beautiful plans inevitably smash into reality. So let's dig into how you can actually use this.
You know, the first thing everyone gets wrong about Agile is thinking it's all about speed. Go faster. But it's not. Not at all. It's about creating a system to learn fast. It's about looking at reality, seeing what's actually working, not what you thought would work, and then adapting as quickly as you can.
And let's be real, life is, well, it's always uncertain, isn't it? That 5-year plan you made, it's great for setting a direction, a North Star, but the minute it hits the real world, it starts to crack. Agile is the framework that lets you keep moving forward anyway. It's how you adjust and improve without just sitting around waiting for some perfect moment of clarity that, frankly, is never going to show up.
Okay, so let's make this practical. We're going to start by applying Agile directly to you, to your professional life. And let's just assume for a second that you've already done some of the heavy lifting. You know, you've got a good sense of your long-term goals and where you're headed.
So you've got a clear vision and mission. You know your why. Maybe you've even gone through and done a full personal SWOT analysis. You've pinpointed your key risks, and you're already tracking your KPIs to see how you're doing. Basically, you've set your strategic direction. You're on top of it.
And yet, even with all that amazing prep work, the day-to-day is still a mess, right? Priorities at work suddenly pivot. Your energy levels are up one week, down the next. Some shiny new opportunity pops up that wasn't even on your radar. The world just refuses to stand still for our plans.
So, that leads us to the big question. How do you stay true to that long-term vision while dealing with the chaos of right now? How do you keep making steady, meaningful progress when the road ahead seems to be changing every single day? Well, that is the exact problem Agile was built to solve.
All right, so let's translate this. We're going to take the core ideas of Agile from the boardroom and turn them into a personal operating system you could start using, like, today. It's all built on a few really simple but powerful concepts. First up, your backlog. Now, this is not just another to-do list. Please do not think of it that way. Think of it more like a master inventory. It's the one single place where you dump everything that's competing for your time and attention, big or small. Every idea, every task, every goal, it all goes in here. This is the vault for everything you could do.
So, what goes in there? Well, pretty much everything. Professional goals, right? Finish that data analytics certification. Big personal projects. Outline the book I've been dreaming about writing. Even health habits. Actually stick to a workout routine. The rule is simple. If it's something you're thinking about doing, it goes in the backlog. Okay, next piece of the puzzle, your sprint. A sprint is just a short, fixed period of time. For a personal system, 1 week is perfect. So, every week, you look at that huge master backlog and you pull out just a tiny handful of items for your sprint. And here is the absolute key. You commit only to what you can realistically get done this week. This is not a wish list. It's a rock-solid, realistic commitment. Then, at the end of the week, you do your review. This part is super simple and totally objective. You just look at the things you committed to for the sprint and ask, did I get it done? What actually moved forward? And what's still sitting here? The review is all about the outcome, the what.
And right after that, you do the retrospective. Now, this is a huge distinction, so listen closely. The retrospective isn't about the what, it's about the how. How did you work? What helped you get things done? What totally derailed you? And, most importantly, what's one small thing you're going to try differently next week to make the process better? This is where the magic happens. This is where you learn.
So when you put all these pieces together, your backlog, your weekly sprint, the review, and the retrospective, it completely changes the game. It fundamentally shifts how you approach your goals. You stop feeling the pressure and you start making real progress.
And this right here, this shows the massive mental shift. We all know the old way, right? You set some giant, overwhelming New Year's resolution. This year, I'm gonna fix everything. It sounds amazing on January 1st, and by February, you just feel like a failure. The Agile way is so different. It says, this week, I'm just gonna improve one small thing. That's it. It's doable, it's repeatable, and it actually builds momentum.
And the reason this works so well is because it's designed to kill overwhelm. First, by only pulling a few things into your sprint, you're forced to prioritize what's actually important right now. Second, by committing to just that small workload, you limit your work in progress, which, it just frees up so much mental space.
And finally, that weekly review and retrospective cycle creates this super fast feedback loop. You're constantly learning, constantly tweaking, constantly getting better.
And look, this isn't just some neat personal productivity hack. This is a battle-tested strategy that has built some of the most successful companies on the planet. Let's take a quick look at Toyota, for example.
So picture this. It's right after World War II. Toyota is, well, they're in a terrible spot. They have almost no resources, no money, and they're trying to compete against the absolute giants of the American auto industry. Competing on sheer size and volume? No way. It was impossible. They had to find a completely different way to play the game.
So what did they do? They built a system that was, for all intents and purposes, agile. They focused on tiny, continuous improvements. That's kind of like their version of a sprint. They created these amazing feedback systems right on the factory floor, a constant loop of reviewing and improving. And get this, they empowered any employee to stop the entire production line if they saw a problem. Talk about adapting in real time. This whole philosophy became the legendary Toyota production system.
And this just nails the core idea, doesn't it? Toyota knew they couldn't win by being the biggest or the fastest, so they decided to win by being the most adaptable. They built a system that was obsessed with learning. And that relentless, day in, day out focus on getting just a little bit better is what allowed them to eventually dominate their much, much larger competitors.
Okay, let's wrap this up. When you boil it all down, Agile isn't just a checklist of things to do. It's a full-blown operating system, an OS for making real progress in a world that is completely unpredictable.
So if you remember anything, remember this. An Agile system helps you do 3 things. 1, it helps you move forward even when you're uncertain. 2, it forces you to learn from reality, not from your own assumptions. And 3, and this is probably the most important, it shifts your goal away from some impossible standard of perfection and toward continuous, steady improvement.
At the end of the day, this simple cycle, this is the engine of getting things done. You act, you look at what happened, and you adapt based on that real-world feedback. It's that simple. So the question isn't, do I have the perfect 5-year plan? The real question is, what can I learn and what can I improve this week? That is Agile. And that is thinking like a business.